Winter 2026 is shaping up to be one of the boldest anime seasons we've seen in years. Not because of sequels or nostalgia, but because of brand new stories willing to take risk. These anime bring darker worlds, broken heroes, psychological tension, and unpredictable storytelling. Today, we're counting down the top 10 most anticipated new anime coming in winter 2026. Let's begin. Starting at number 10, Reincarnated as a dragon hatchling follows a protagonist named Irushia, who is reborn not as a chosen hero or legendary warrior, but as the weakest possible creature in a fantasy world, a newly hatched dragon. The story opens with a brutal fight for survival, as Irushia struggles without magic or physical strength, surrounded by hostile beasts in an unfamiliar forest. As time passes, he begins to grow, evolve, and adapt, slowly learning what it truly means to survive and thrive as a dragon. The anime gradually shifts from raw survival into a compelling growth narrative centered on instinct, intelligence, and hard-earned dominance, making it one of the most unique isekai concepts of the season. The series premieres on January 10th, 2026, and will be available to watch on High Dive. Coming in at number 9, Noble Reincarnation. Noah, who is reborn into a prestigious noble family, only to discover that nobility is not a blessing, but a battlefield. What begins as subtle family politics gradually escalates into assassination plots, succession conflicts, and ruthless power struggles, where survival depends on patience, calculation, and manipulation. As the story unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that kindness alone is a liability in this world, and true power must be carefully built and earned over time. Noble Reincarnation is set to premiere on January 5th, 2026, and will be available to stream on Crunchyroll. At number 8 on the list, HellMode follows 35-year-old Kenichi Yamada, a lifelong MMORPG veteran who has grown tired of games designed for casual players. When he discovers a never-ending game featuring an unforgiving HellMode, he dives in without hesitation, only to be transported into the game's world and reborn as a baby named Alan, born into a family of struggling serfs. With nothing but his memories and gaming instincts to rely on, Alan must survive an unforgiving world, uncover the hidden potential of the summoner class, and gradually challenge the fate imposed on his new family. What begins as a brutal survival test slowly evolves into a methodical journey of growth, strategy, and persistence, making HellMode less about instant power and more about mastering the hardest path imaginable. The series is set to premiere on January 10th, 2026, and will be available to stream on High Dive. Sliding into number 7, Rollover and Die delivers a dark fantasy story centered on Flum, a young girl branded as useless and cast aside by the very party she trusted. Betrayed and sold into slavery, Flum is stripped of her freedom and treated as disposable, eventually being thrown into a deadly dungeon as nothing more than bait for monsters. Forced to survive through sheer desperation, she begins to uncover a cursed ability that allows her to grow stronger through pain, suffering, and near-death experiences. As the story unfolds, survival slowly turns into vengeance, and fragile hope is replaced by a brutal will to live at any cost. Rather than heroic ideals, the anime focuses on trauma, resilience, and the horrifying price of power, making it one of the darkest and most emotionally intense entries on this list. Rollover and Die is set to release on January 9th, 2026, and will be available to stream on Crunchyroll. Taking the 6th spot, Sentenced to be a Hero flips the idea of heroism on its head by turning it into a punishment rather than an honor. Criminals are forced into deadly missions against monsters and ancient threats, where survival is never guaranteed and death is often expected. The protagonist, Xylo, begins with a single goal: freedom. But as teammates fall and innocent lives are lost, he's forced to confront the crushing weight of responsibility. Rather than glorifying heroism, the anime strips it down to trauma, guilt, and moral conflict, giving off the same uncomfortable, morally gray tension fans felt in shows like Akame ga Kill and Attack on Titan, where survival comes at a heavy cost. Sentenced to be a Hero arrives on January 3rd, 2026, and will be available to stream on Crunchyroll. Before we continue, if you're enjoying the list so far, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Anime Senpai. And let me know in the comments which Winter 2026 anime you're most excited to watch. Now, let's move into the top 5. Breaking into the top 5, the jack-of-all-trades kicked out of the hero's party follows Orhun Dura, a trusted enchanter betrayed by his childhood friend and cast out of the hero party for being labeled a jack-of-all-trades but a master of none. Forced to walk away and stand on his own, Orhun chooses the life of a solo adventurer. As time passes, his former party begins to fall apart without his support, while Orhun slowly grows stronger through tough fights, new allies, and real experience. What starts as rejection turns into a calm but satisfying comeback that proves his true value. The anime premiered on January 1st, 2026, and is now streaming on Crunchyroll. At number 4, there was a cute girl in the hero's party, so I tried confessing to her. It mixes fantasy adventure with light rom-com energy, following a protagonist who risks confessing his feelings to a cute party member in the middle of dangerous quests. What's getting fans especially excited is the character design. The heroine strongly resembles Rimuru Tempest, while the male lead gives off Hinata Sakaguchi vibes from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. That familiar visual style has already caught a lot of attention, making this one of the most talked about romance fantasy titles heading into Winter 2026. The anime releases on January 6th, 2026, and will be available on Crunchyroll. Landing at number 3, All You Need IsKill delivers a brutal sci-fi war story where death is not the end, but the beginning of a nightmare. The anime follows a young soldier thrown into a hopeless battle against an alien force, only to discover that every time he dies, he's sent back to relive the same day again. What starts as confusion slowly turns into desperation, as repeated deaths harden him mentally and emotionally, reshaping him into a weapon forged by endless combat. The story focuses on psychological pressure, trauma, and the cost of survival, turning repetition into its greatest strength. All You Need IsKill releases on January 9th, 2026. Sliding into number 2, DeadAccount dives into a haunting world where social media accounts continue to exist even after death, and some begin triggering terrifying supernatural disturbances. The story follows a protagonist who uncovers a hidden system where unresolved emotions, regrets, and obsessions refuse to disappear, instead bleeding into the real world as dangerous phenomena. The anime carries a sharp psychological edge and a heavy urban horror atmosphere, creating the same kind of unease found in classic mind game and modern psychological anime. With its eerie mood and commentary on digital identity, grief, and memory, DeadAccount stands out as one of the most unsettling and thought-provoking titles of the season. The series releases on January 10th, 2026, and will be available to watch on Crunchyroll. Claiming the number 1 spot, Fate Strange Fake unleashes a holy grail war where nothing works the way it's supposed to. The rules are broken, servants are fake, and alliances shift without warning, turning chaos into the very foundation of the conflict. This isn't a war that slowly builds. It explodes from the very start, with unpredictable confrontations and constant tension that keeps both characters and viewers on edge. With its massive scale, intense character clashes, and the kind of narrative instability that makes every episode feel dangerous, Fate Strange Fake stands as one of the most ambitious entries in the Fate franchise. The series releases on January 3rd, 2026, and is available to watch on Crunchyroll. And that's a wrap on our list. Let me know which anime you liked the most. Watch our next video on the best returning anime of Winter 2026, and I'll see you there.